And Dez may not even be the third option because they still got Sterling Shepard. That would not work at all. Dez, stay away from the New York Giants. I know you want some revenge, but they are going in a different direction. And it's reported that the Giants doesn't even want them anyway. But at this point, I think some things will change after the draft. I don't see Dez getting on any team in the next week. It doesn't make any sense business-wise for any of the franchises to sign Dez because they're going to be looking for a young talent. They're going to see what they can get. And then as that draft goes on and those roster spots get filled, Dez asking price will be dropping. And he's going to end up accepting something that, of course, he doesn't want to accept. And he may end up on a team that he wants to be on, but it still may not be a good fit. So Dez, stay away from the Ravens, the Browns, and the Giants. That's it. That's all I got. Now, we're going to stay in football. We're going to finish up in football. I had to take a drink of water. I'm sorry. Aaron Rodgers is in the news. And a report came out that Aaron was upset that the Packers were not involving him in the conversations as far as like what's going on with the franchise, and personnel decisions. Now, Aaron has came out, said that was fake news. He has also said, you got to trust the process. I did not know he played for the 76ers. But anyway, he said you got to trust the process. And his job is, to be the quarterback, play football, and see, and go with how things go. Now, he did mention, it is tough, losing guys, that you came close with and that, and I think more than anything that he depended on, and he went offensive and defensive side. He went A.J. Hawk, he went Kuhn, he went Jordy, of course, among other players. He said Julius Peppers. So I think there was a little bit there, as far as like, I think what he really was saying, like, what are we doing? We're losing players, but who are we getting? So upset? No, I don't think that Aaron Rodgers is upset. But I think he notices, like, we're not getting any better. And it seems like it's more on my plate to bail us out. You had Eddie Lacy. He had, 2 good years. And you've been trying to replace him with another running back. And you went with this experiment of Montgomery, former wide receiver turned running back. You did draft a couple guys. Maybe not what you need at this point. They could develop into, really good players. You get rid of Jordy, his go-to guy. Now we know Randall Cobb is there, but Randall's not a number one. Now Devontae, and I'm about to call him Freeman, and I can't remember his last name right now, but there are other wide receivers. They just paid him. He's going to be their new number one. I think he'll work out fine. But one receiver is not going to help you. I don't know if Randall Cobb can step up into that role that they really want him to be. You got Geronimo Allison. We don't know. You lost Richard Rodgers, and you lost, who was that? They had Jared Cook. They got Jimmy Graham, though. Now, that is possibly an upgrade there. Possibly. But there's a lot of question marks in Green Bay. And I do think, they put a lot on Aaron's plate to bail them out in games. And they're not necessarily addressing the free agent market. And that's probably the biggest thing. They don't have to go out there and get, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys, out of free agency. That's never been the Packers. But you mean to tell me you couldn't go get one guy and tell him, hey, man, we got Aaron Rodgers, man. You've seen what that dude can do without you. What do you think he can with you playing on the Green Bay Packers? Same thing like Brett Favre. They got Reggie White. Changed everything for that franchise. I mean, they was a historic franchise to begin with, but they had fell off. Brett wasn't winning any Super Bowls before Reggie got there. He only won one, but I'm just saying. So it's the same thing. You're putting all this on Aaron Rodgers, and he's just like, look, there's a couple guys that we could get. It's all right if we get some guys. I think this is how he feels. Is that I think it's all right if we get a couple guys out of free agency. Big name guys. And we pay them a little bit. Kevin Gray, my man Kevin Gray that I always mess with from Clutch Talk Sports said, they let go of his quarterback coach without consulting him. They let his number one wideout go without consulting him either. And they really haven't included him on any major decisions that affect his play on the football field. So I think he is at a very least disappointed, if not upset. And now I heard Chris Carter talk about this, and he brings up a valid point. Because Chris Carter said he don't care. He said, Aaron Rodgers' job is to play football, not to make personnel decisions, because if you do that, then you open up the box for what is the next thing you need to consult him on. So I agree with him on that. But you do know, like, hey, Aaron would love, this guy, or Aaron would love this. You may not have to talk to him, but you know. And you're not getting those, you're not getting those players. And the scary part is that Aaron Rodgers is he's on the back nine of his career now. He's not an old man, but he's not that young guy that he was. And I'm scared of what the conversation could be, and they may look at the Packers as far as like, you wasted X amount of years, and now you're trying to make up for it. So, helps my Lions out. At least gives us a puncher's chance, because we still be losing to the Packers. So just imagine if the Packers was getting, the players that maybe Aaron Rodgers wanted, or some of those free agents. Oh my gosh. And I still think RC said it. I think Dez would probably be a decent spot, for the Packers for a cheap price. I think they would pay him cheap, and Dez would trade that all to get to play with Aaron Rodgers. But Aaron Rodgers upset with personnel decisions. I don't think he's really upset in the decisions of him not being included. I just think he's just really like, yo, we need to hit on the next one. We need to get this thing right. And then win some games, get in the playoffs, and win another Super Bowl. So we're going to take one more quick break, and then we're going to come back, and I want to talk about this Saquan Barkley story and see if you heard about it. Saquan Barkley and his folks are in the news right around draft time. Why is that? Not a surprise. So you listen to the Wait a Minute show again with your man Jelani JB Bodie and my co-host Lopan. We'll be back after these words.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Vince Wright, the sports governor from the great state of Minnesota. Join the rest of us sports zombies on 2 Live Stews Radio. That's right, the boys are back. Doug, Ryan, and the rest of us, including me, the sports gov of Minnesota, Vince Wright, also known to the ladies as the Big Smooth. Keep it tuned here. That's right, 2 Live Stews Radio.
Lopan, they didn't even want you. Heck, they didn't even want me. But you know what? Right about now, they have no choice. Looking for the real sports talk? Talk that's for us, the people? Look no further. The Wait a Minute Show, a prime time sports comedy cocktail that tucks you in at night. Join me and Lopan Wednesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the 2livestewsradio.com and Saturday 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the waitaminuteshow.com. Sounds like a plan to me. Ain't that right, Lopan?
Indeed.
This is number one Chief Rocker Jersey Vern on a Recap Monday doing his recap show. We're going to talk about sports, entertainment. We're going to have call interviews, on the spot calls. This is just a show that will bring nothing but passion and joy and understanding to all the listeners on the Two Live Stews radio platform. The number one Chief Rocker Jersey Vern.
Yo, what's good? This is Trey Frazier on the staff. This is the Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. Make sure y'all tune in to us every Tuesday night, 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time.
This is Key C from the
Kicking It With Key C show.
on the newly rebranded Two Live Stews Radio Network. We will continue to bring you the hottest, most interesting guests and commentary in the areas of social, politics, culture, music, and more. Continue to tune in.
X gon' give it to you.
He's the brain of operations.
I'm telling you right now, book it!
And him, he's along for the ride.
Indeed.
But together, they bring you sports like you've never heard before. The Wait a Minute Show, a new way of discussing today's trending sports topics. And now, back to the show with your host, Jolani J.B. Bodie.
Indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back once again. It's the Wait a Minute Show. And we're going to talk about Saquan Barkley, like I was telling you before the break. Saquon Barkley is in the news. Like I said, no surprise there. The NFL draft is coming up, and we all know the Cleveland Browns are on the clock with the first pick, but also have the fourth pick as well. So through mock drafts, and you've seen my mock draft. If you haven't, you can go back and listen to the mock draft that I had. But there's the thought that Cleveland is going to draft Saquon Barkley at 1 or at 4 at some point. Highly likely that he does end up in Cleveland. He could end up somewhere else, but there's a good chance he could end up at Cleveland. So there's a report that had came out that Barkley, air quotes that I'm doing, handlers don't want the Cleveland Browns to draft him. So the report is that they were talking with Saquon about it. Saquon didn't want to come out and say, no, I don't want the Cleveland Browns to draft me. But they're looking at it as they want the Browns to pass because they feel that the New York Giants is going to pick Saquon at number 2, which would be a larger media market for Saquon, for him and his brand. And Saquon, as in a conversation that he was having about 2 weeks ago in an interview, he was talking about how, hey, if Cleveland did draft me and I brought them a Super Bowl, it would be equivalent, pretty much kind of like LeBron, which he's right. Now, after those reports came out, because Saquon is represented by Rock Nation, they came out and said, no, we did not say anything like that. That is no surprise. At this point, people lie all the time headed into the NFL draft, but definitely when you're a week away, there's so much smoke that's flying around. I wouldn't be surprised